Hey, can anyone hear me? I'm on a different setup than I usually use.
Yes, I can see you and hear you.
Great, appreciate it. Thanks.
Good morning, everyone. Today is December 12th, 2025, and this is the status conference in docket 21A-0141E, the company's seemingly never-ending 2021 electric resource plan and clean energy plan. I'm Eric Blank, and just by background, the commission scheduled the status conference to discuss the logistics of the upcoming interactive technical workshop, which will be held remotely next week on Thursday, December 18th and Friday, December 19th. Ultimately, the goal today is to flesh out the proposed process and logistics for next week's workshop so it can run as smoothly as possible. For some brief context, the company filed its 2025 near-term procurement report on December 5th. In this report, the company stated it will make available for the technical conference the following subject matter experts: Michael Pascucci, regulatory policy, John Landrum, resource planning, Anthony D'Agostino, planning analyst, and John Bornhofen, purchase power. I think we anticipate taking a panel approach where the commissioners and parties will address the panel and ask any questions. Comments responsive to the technical conference are due on January 12th, 2026. Before we get into the substance, I'd like to go around and get entries of appearance for the parties who are participating today. I'll then ask Mr. Larson in public service if there's a proposed structure for the technical conference. And then we can take comments on the company's proposal, and then see if the commissioners have any additional guidance, substance process they'd like to add. So does that make sense to you, Commissioner Goman, as a way forward?
Yeah, all good.
Commissioner Plant?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Let's start with entries of appearance, and I'm going to go down the list of those that replied to the NTP motion, and then see if anybody else start with the company.
Good morning, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. Matt Larson, Wilkinson Barker Nauer, LLP, on behalf of Public Service. I also want to enter the appearance of Chris Irby.
Next on my list is City of Boulder, City of Denver, City of Pueblo.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Mark Davidson of law firm Fairfield and Woods, appearing on behalf of the City of Pueblo.
Thank you. Colorado Energy Office.
Good morning, everyone. David Banis on behalf of the Colorado Energy Office.
Colorado Office of Just Transition. Colorado Oil and Gas Association. COSA.
Good morning. Jake Schlesinger with the law firm of Keys and Fox on behalf of Colorado Solar and Storage Association and the Solar Energy Industries Association, and would also like to enter the appearance of Ellen Kutzer.
Thank you. Holy Cross Electric Association.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Mark Detsky, the law firm Davidson Davis, entering my appearance on behalf of Holy Cross Electric Association, and I'd also like to enter the appearance of Daniel Rubin.
Thank you. International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, Local 111. Pueblo Interveners. Rocky Mountain Environmental Labor Coalition. Trial staff.
Good morning, Commissioners. Justin Cox, Assistant Attorney General at the Attorney General's Office on behalf of trial staff. I'm joined by Aileen Chong.
Utility Consumer Advocate.
Good morning, Commissioners. Michelle Singer-Nelson, representing the Office of the Utility Consumer Advocate.
Walmart. And this is my list of other parties from the docket that may not have filed comments. Climax.
Good morning, Your Honor. Richard Fanyo for Climax.
Thank you. Colorado Energy Consumers.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm having some connectivity issues this morning, but Austin Rushoff on behalf of Colorado Energy Consumers.
Thank you. Colorado Independent Energy Association.
Morning again, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners. Mark Detsky, Deason Davis, entering my appearance on behalf of the Colorado Independent Energy Association, CIA, and I'd also like to enter the appearance of Dana Rubin.
Thank you. Colorado Renewable Energy Society. Conservation Coalition. Core Electric Cooperative. Interwest Energy Alliance.
Good morning, Chairman. Chris Leger for the Interwest Energy Alliance.
Onward Energy Management.
Morning, Commissioners. Sarah Judkins with Kaplan Kirsch on behalf of Onward Energy Management. Also like to enter the appearance of my colleague, Sarah Keene.
Thank you. Vote Solar.
Good morning. Michael Hyatt with Earth Justice on behalf of Vote Solar.
Western Resource Advocates.
Good morning. Parks Prosa representing Western Resource Advocates.
Commission Counsel.
Erin McLaughlin, Commission Counsel, and I'd also like to enter the appearance of Mitch DeCenso.
Did I miss anyone? Ms. Judkins.
Thank you, Commissioner. I'd also like to enter an appearance on behalf of Mainspring Energy, Inc., as well as the appearance of my colleague, Sarah Keene.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right. Mr. Larson, I'm hoping you have a proposal for how things should run next week.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. We do have a proposal. I can certainly talk through the details of it. I will let you know before we do that. We've both spoken with the joint movements here, which is Public Service, Trial Staff at a Commission, Utility Consumer Advocate, Colorado Energy Office. And then we've also sent this out to the parties. So parties are already aware of this. I do have it in kind of a 2-slide form, if that's helpful. So we're looking at it on the screen. Alternatively, if you prefer, I could just speak to it verbally.
Whatever works best.
Me sharing might not work best, but it's probably going to be easiest. I can try to share here.
Hang on, I have to make you a co-host. Give me a couple minutes.
Okay, sorry. I can start kind of giving an overview of it, maybe while that gets set up.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, so the way that the interactive technical workshop, a little bit unusual in that both commissioners are going to be asking questions, as well as there's an opportunity for parties to ask questions, which is what was contemplated in the motion. So we would propose that it be broken down into 4 phases, which the first phase would be a very short overview by Public Service of the proposed NTP portfolio, starting off, and that would be about a 15-minute, 3-4 slide type of presentation to start. From there, we would transition into what we're calling phase 2, which would be commissioner questions, and that would be for the remainder of the morning of Thursday, December 18. In the afternoon, we would transition into party questioning opportunities. And what we were proposing was 15-minute blocks that parties that wish to question the Public Service panel could sign up for those blocks. And then that would potentially go through the remainder of the afternoon on Thursday, December 18. And for a small part of the morning, call it 9 to 10:30 on Friday, December 19. At that point, we would transition back to the commissioners for follow-up questions. And in addition to that, if the company had to bring back a different subject matter expert that perhaps, Mr. Pascucci, Mr. Landrum, Mr. DiAgostino, or Mr. Bornhofen were unable to speak to a question, that'd be a chance for us to bring them back and hopefully get your questions addressed. So that's kind of how it's broken down. We have, timing associated with it as well in the slides, but that's a general overview of what we were proposing or to do for y'all's consideration.
Yeah, I'd love to hear from the parties, questions, comments. Ms. Nelson?
Thank you, Commissioner. UCA agrees with the proposal that Mr. Larson is going to put up on the screen. The only concern we raised, and we've discussed this amongst the parties, is that 15 minutes is a very short period of time for at least the UCA to ask its questions and receive answers from the company. So we had requested that we potentially get up to 30 minutes to ask questions and receive answers. And then the other issue I wanted to raise is because there's obviously been no discovery relating to this, is the potential for sending written questions. And I apologize, Mr. Larson, I haven't addressed this with you yet. But I was thinking that to the extent that we could write our questions down, then that might shorten the questioning period, oral questioning period, and then the company would be more prepared prior to the technical conference to answer the questions instead of us, surprising them during the conference with our questions. So those are my two comments.
Mr. Larson?
Yeah, so one of the things that we were contemplating, and it's down here in phase 3. Are you all able to see this okay?
We are.
Okay. Down here on phase 3 is that to the extent that there was unallocated time, so that not all the 15-minute blocks were signed up for it, that the state agencies would have the opportunity to sign up for another block, which would take you to the 30 minutes that Ms. Nelson's referring to.
And that works for us. Hopefully we'll have it. We'll have the extra 15 minutes.
And in terms of sending questions ahead of time, I mean, the company's got no objection to that.
Oh, thank you.
Any other comments, Mr. Barroso?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. We wanted to clarify whether the intent was for this conference to be held entirely public. That is my understanding of what's been proposed, but obviously there are confidential and highly confidential sections of the NTP. And so, Mr. Larson, we just realized this morning as we were reviewing the proposal and wanted to see whether you had thoughts around the handling of any confidential questioning.
Yeah, I could certainly address that if that's all right with you, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please.
So a couple different things. Number one, to the extent the commissioners had highly confidential questions, we could place that into the phase 4, which would be kind of essentially the remainder of the day on December 19, which is next Friday. We have 11 o'clock until, assuming everything goes on schedule, it doesn't always go exactly like that. But we would have that period of time for the commissioners to do their highly confidential questions. In addition, when parties sign up for a block, we could have highly confidential blocks if people do intend to do highly confidential questioning, and we could put those at a particular time in the order. For example, it could be first thing on the morning of December 19 in this 9 a.m. to 10:30 that's showing on the screen. Alternatively, it could be, after the afternoon break, earlier on in phase 3, which is reflected down at the bottom of the first slide.
Is that responsive, Mr. Barroso?
That is, thank you.
Mr. Vetsky?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the limitation of 15 minutes to parties that are not state agencies is not acceptable to CIEA, who may have more than 15 minutes worth of questions. Some of that may be highly confidential as well. And so our proposal is that to the extent that there are 15-minute slots available, that parties could sign up for more than one block, that parties could also share time. If one party does not use all 15 minutes, then they could essentially share that time with another party that does have time. And we just think that 15 minutes is an arbitrary number. We understand you got to pick something, but we don't think that that should serve as some kind of bar to asking questions for parties.
Mr. Larson?
Yeah, I mean, from the company's perspective, I think we could allow for additional signups to the extent that time's available. The reason 15 minutes was picked was because the math works, right? So we were able to fit it within the 2 days. I guess the only other thing I would say is, this is a technical conference. It's not an evidentiary hearing, and it's not cross-examination, right? So we have no problem with people asking questions at a company's panel, but I just want to make sure that when we go into this, it's really to learn more about the report, learn about things that the company did, and ask questions kind of that nature, as opposed to, trying to litigate the portfolio within the confines of the technical conference.
And
yeah,
sorry,
Mr. Detsky.
I'm not really sure that's the distinction with the difference, that we're going to ask questions that we don't have to frame them as we would as though they were cross-examination. But we're going to ask questions about the report and the things that they're said in it. We don't have any discovery, so we can't, hold people to their answers like we could in an evidentiary hearing. But we're certainly feel that we can ask questions about the report and how they came to the conclusions they did.
I agree. No issues with that from our perspective.
So just so I'm clear, so there's going to be like a sign-up sheet where parties are going to sign up, and then you'll sort of let us know where we're at, and maybe you could get it back to us before our weekly meeting next week. So if we have to try and make any decisions, we can. Does that make sense, Mr. Larson? Or I guess we could take it up first thing Thursday.
Yeah, we could either one. Might be helpful just to do it first thing Thursday, but we could certainly, we're going to have to figure out some kind of platform for people to sign up, like not to be informal about it, but like a doodle poll or something similar, so that people can sign up and it's all kind of housed in one place. But, we're willing to take that on to get that moving.
Can I just ask a follow-up, Mr. Larson? And I know your intent is to let people kind of let the parties indicate if they have confidential or non-confidential questions. And I presume if 15 minutes is what we end up with, that they could bifurcate within there. I think it was just maybe not unclear from the previous description, like the whole 15 minutes doesn't have to be confidential or non-confidential. I just want to make sure we get whatever is non-confidential in the public realm. So my presumption is they can just bifurcate their total amount of time allocation to what amount is confidential and what amount is not.
Yeah, that's correct. I mean, I think we would need to get an indication from the parties as to how much of the 15 minutes is confidential versus public, or highly confidential, just so we're not toggling back and forth between the rooms. But, I think breaking up the blocks a little bit, especially looking at the afternoon of December 18, which is the bottom of this slide. That might be an opportunity to do that, where, for the first, anyone that's got all public questions kind of goes first. Those are all public blocks. And then if somebody's got questions they need to take on where they had call it a 10-minute and 5-minute split, they could put that into the afternoon portion. And it won't function perfectly, Commissioner, but it's just designed to keep things moving and be able to work within the allotted time, and also give the commission, adequate time to ask questions while still giving the parties opportunity.
That responsive, does that give you what you need, Commissioner Gellman?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure there was it wasn't an all or nothing with your 15 minutes.
That'd be kind of an interesting exercise, but no, it wasn't proposed that way.
Mr. Schlesinger.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and apologies if we've already worked through this. I guess it wasn't totally clear to me, but I just wanted to kind of share COSA's concern about, a limited 15 minutes. I mean, there's, a lot here, and this is all happening really fast. And so we would support Mr. Detsky's proposal that additional 15-minute blocks be available to any party, not just government interveners. And part of the reason is that the government interveners don't necessarily represent the interests of all the parties that are present here. And so if to the extent Mr. Larson's already agreed to that, I appreciate it, but just wanted to chime in.
Okay. Mr. Bonas?
Thank you, Chair. CEO just wants to ask, we like this idea of sending questions to the company ahead of time. We think that could streamline things and maybe avoid duplication. We just want to be clear about whether we should be serving these questions on the company and all the parties, or maybe folks could just informally email them around just so that everyone knows what everyone else is asking.
And Mr. Larson, that makes sense to me. And you can, Mr. Larson, you can take down the thing so we can maybe see each other a little better.
It'd be helpful for me too. Let me figure out how to do that.
Yeah. And Mr. Larson, I saw you shaking your head. We're happy doing it informally or not at all. I think we just want to set expectations.
Yeah, I mean, if people want to copy the parties on the questions that they have that they're sending over, that's no issue. We're not going to respond in writing right before the hearing. We're going to try to address them when we get into the hearing. So I just want to be clear that there's not going to be a written response.
That's our understanding. Yeah.
Ms. Judkins?
Good morning again. I wanted to clarify a concept or a question raised by Mr. Detsky. If a party isn't planning to use a time slot, if they're able to cede it to another party, I think this could help address some of the timing concerns that have been raised by Mr. Schlesinger and Mr. Detsky.
We could auction it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. We're going to have a secondary market.
Yeah, I like this. It'll be the first cash flow positive technical conference.
Commission counsel's jumping in here. Assume the auction and secondary market comments were a joke.
Yeah, that was in jest for clarity of the proceeding.
We're both running for the hills.
So in terms of, I mean, I don't know that we want people trading. If we have an oversubscription issue, I think we're gonna have to work that out amongst ourselves. I don't want to create a situation where people are trading blocks behind the scenes. I think what would be helpful is we can put the list out. Everybody that intends to question needs to sign up by a time certain, and we'll put that in an email to you all. To the extent there's open times available, then we can let people know that X amount of times are available, and we'll do it on a first come, first served basis.
And
probably better than the auction.
Yeah, and we may want to get if there's something we need to deal with, why don't you get it to us before the Wednesday CWM, so we can maybe provide guidance ahead of Thursday if there's disagreements. Ms. McLaughlin, did you want to jump in?
I like that my presence creates such a stir, but I was going to suggest, Chair, that maybe a bench order today for the matrix. So I appreciate that the company is leading and organizing this, but maybe by noon on Tuesday would be really helpful, both so that we understand as advisors and counsel, where the blocks are, but as you say, if there's any concerns, those can be raised timely. Also, so that our legal assistants can know when we should be setting up those confidential sessions and for how long, so we can kind of plan. I think noon on Tuesday would be really helpful, but I understand, and maybe a question you can raise to the parties is, if at the very latest, I think noon on Wednesday, so we could address anything at the beginning, would be really helpful to set those expectations today.
Mr. Larson?
A noon on Wednesday would be helpful, but if Tuesday at noon works better for you all, we could certainly do that. I think
that worked better for me.
Okay, that works for us.
Mr. Detsky?
Yes, hi. I'm going to leave my camera off because I'm getting low bandwidth notifications. I had just a couple of questions. I appreciate the opportunity to ask questions of the company. I was also planning on, or would like to get some guidance from the commissioners. One thing that we might do is ask for further information that the company could provide prior to parties' written comments. And I wanted to see if that would be something that we could bring up at the hearing and have the commission perhaps order further information or be open to that kind of order after the technical conference. That's the first question. And the second question is, I apologize for not following personnel movements at public service, but I'm not sure who Mr. D'Agostino is. And if is he the transmission expert? I'm hoping that there is a transmission expert on the panel. And second question is Mr. Pascucci filling in for Mr. Eiley for anything policy related.
Yeah, let's break those down. And I also had questions about transmission expertise on the panel. So I'll follow up. Let's see if we can get the process ironed out, and then we'll go to the substance. Mr. Larson, what do you think about some limited opportunity for dialogue with the parties between the technical conference and their comments?
I think that's number one. I hadn't heard this until just now. And we had circulated this proposal at the end of the day Wednesday for feedback. Number two, I mean, it's creating a de facto discovery process on us that I think is going to be really challenging for us to do. We're happy to talk with parties offline, in an informal way, but to start serving information, I have concerns about that.
Mr. Detsky, can you talk to Mr. Larson offline and see if you can come up with a mutually agreeable way of getting information between the company and the parties to see if we can make sure your comments filed on the 12th are as helpful as possible.
I'm happy to talk to Mr. Larson.
Mr. Larson.
Yeah, and just one more thing I should have said before. I mean, in a typical phase 2 process, we wouldn't have that discovery, but we do regularly speak to parties. Mr. Detsky and I have spoken in the past about things in a 120-day report, for example, and that type of interaction would 100% be possible.
Okay. Yeah, the more you can, I mean, given the timing constraints, the more you can help the parties, help us collectively, the better. Any other comments on process? All right. I guess I'll just throw my comments on substance out there, then I'll turn it over to my colleagues. Well, actually, before we leave process, anything else you want to add, Commissioner Goen, before we get to the sort of panelists?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I think we're all working to understand how this abbreviated process works the best. Certainly understand Mr. Larson's concerns with any follow-up questions, but I can't say today. I know for sure there won't be follow-up questions, it's a new process. So between you and the parties is one thing, just thinking from the commission. We'll
All right. Well, we may have we may have commission counsel reaching out to you, Mr. Larson. So
Yeah,
we'll learn a lot next week. That's all I know at this point, but it's a new process, so I think we'll try our best.
Yeah.
Can I just, in response to Commissioner Gilman, clarify what I meant there? So to the extent that there's follow-up questions from the commission that we need to address in our January 12th comments, and those come in, we could certainly address those at the January 12th deadline. I think that was contemplated in the proposed procedures. I was just more concerned about creating a discovery process, given the volumes of discovery that we see from these parties.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, and I don't know what'll happen after the technical conference. I just think it's conceivable the commission could have some questions that need to be followed up on.
Commissioner Plant?
Yeah, I have no additional stuff.
All right. I'll just share my current thinking. Doesn't mean it won't change, but for now, I have questions at least in 3 areas. The first is qualification of the federal for the federal tax credits. I think you're going to get us some additional responses on Tuesday. And again, I'm not like looking to speak to tax counsel or anything like that. Rather, I just want to know sort of major project by major project, what the qualification strategy is, whether it's, excavating foundations, installing racking, pouring concrete, or manufacturing components under a binding contract. And, for me, I'd also like to know if the land agreements or manufacturing contracts are already in place or still need to be executed. And if that's confidential, maybe you could put it in the Tuesday filing. But just somebody who can answer questions about how the projects are qualifying for the tax credits. Does that make sense, Mr. Larson?
Yeah, I think on the panel, we will produce the information that was provided to us as part of the bid packages on Tuesday. And then, amongst the existing panel setup that we have, the personnel there can speak to the bids that came in. I don't know in every instance what level of detail we're going to have project to project. Some of that is going to be bidder to bidder in terms of what they provided.
Yeah, just who can ask like the general categories. This is the strategy. So if there's questions on the materials you provide, there's somebody there who can answer them, maybe not project by project.
Yes.
The second area for me is transmission, and my comments may be less than Mr. Detsky's, but in June, at the JTS hearing, we talked a significant amount about transmission cost availability. And my main questions go, what will be, what has changed since then? And maybe Mr. Landrum can answer them, but just somebody who can speak to transmission. So I don't know if that's Mr. Landrum or you need someone else, but I do think you are going to need somebody to speak to transmission.
Yeah, to respond to that one, our resource planning team, so between Mr. Landrum and Mr. DiAgostino, I think can initially start doing that. And then to the extent we need to bring back another expert on the transmission side, that there'd be an opportunity for that in the phase 4. So those were the kinds of things we were thinking about in terms of the bifurcated commission structure.
All right. And if Mr. Landrum or whoever's in the phase 2 can be prepared to talk about whether things have changed or not changed, that would be helpful.
Yeah.
Mr. Detsky, sounds like you want to add to that.
Yes, my understanding from Mr. Larson's proposal was that phase 4 was only for the commissioners. So that would not be acceptable to CIEA to have a transmission expert only available on final commissioner questions and not available for general party questions. I think Mr. Landrum has made clear that he has a good understanding, but he's not the transmission expert, and he will defer to the transmission team. And Mr. D'Agostino apparently works with Mr. Landrum, so I think there should be a transmission expert on the panel for party questions.
Mr. Larson?
Yeah, Mr. Deskey, if you want to send me your questions ahead of time, we can determine if we need somebody that's transmission on the panel.
Would that work for you, Mr. Detsky?
I'll endeavor to do so, but I still think transmission issues might.
I'm sorry, you cut out.
I will endeavor to get transmission questions in advance, but I may have questions that arise in the moment.
Okay. And my last issues are on resource adequacy, and I suspect Mr. Landrum would be able to deal with that.
Absolutely.
Commissioner Gilman, anything you want to add? And don't feel obligated, but if you have guidance.
Yeah, it sounds like Mr. Bornhofen will be there, because I think I'll certainly have some questions on PPA negotiations, including like expected timing, tactics, risk profile, and kind of how the company really approaches some more kind of subjective evaluations of risk associated with those negotiations. So, and then probably some questions as well, which I suspect the team already coming will be able to handle on kind of due diligence associated with how the selections were made on the portfolios with regard especially to some of the projects that didn't advance to later stages, things like that in evaluation. So I'd probably echo transmission, and then I'm certain there will probably be some questions about the relationship to JTS, which probably weaves in with resource adequacy, all the things, right? But the timing with JTS is very interesting. And so really trying to understand as precisely as I can the company's plans with how this all fits together. So that's what I'm anticipating right now, but still got a lot of reading to go to be totally ready for you.
Commissioner Gilman, thank you for that. So, Mr. Bornhofen, that's going to be the purpose of us having him on, is to talk about how things will unfold post portfolio approval. With respect to the due diligence, this will hopefully answer one of Mr. Deskey's questions too. Mr. DiAgostino is a member of Mr. Landrum's team at the company. Mr. DiAgostino led a lot of the work on the due diligence side, so that's part of the purpose of having him on the panel. And then the JTS RA questions can be handled between Mr. Pescucci and Mr. Landrum.
Commissioner Plant, anything you want to add?
No, I mean, I don't think I need to get anything to the company in advance, but and you may have already done this, Mr. Larson, but can you provide us with a list of the different company witnesses and what aspects of the NTP they're ready to respond to?
Yes, we can do that.
Yeah, just help with the organizing.
Yeah, I think, I'm sorry, I talked at the same time.
No, I was just saying it would help organize our questions in terms of the witnesses.
Yeah, we could provide some general parameters on who covers what, by the sections of the report.
All right. Do the parties have any additional substantive areas they'd like to see addressed next week? Mr. Detsky.
Yes, it just occurred to me that for the transmission expert, I think that we would like to get some more explanation on the intent and purpose behind the DC transmission study that was provided and what questions it answers, if any.
Mr. Larson.
Yeah, and we can start to speak to that if we end up needing to bring somebody back and have an opportunity for questions between CIEA and that person. We can certainly do that. The only other thing I was going to say, Mr. Chair, was if it's helpful for us to file these little slides that we had, just so the commission has it and advisors in particular in preparing for Thursday, Friday, we could do that.
That'd be great. And I think to the extent there's disagreements, if you could present them to the commission by sort of noon on Tuesday, so we can take them up Wednesday morning. That'd be great.
Just in terms of the time allocation?
Yeah, the time allocation, the substance, the shape of the panel. You know, if you and Mr. Detsky can agree on how we're going to cover transmission issues, and we have to try and decide something. Let's not leave that wait till Thursday morning.
Sounds good. Thank you.
I think that concludes my list. Any other comments from the parties? Commission Council, anything else for today?
No, and I appreciate the bench order for the noon Tuesday matrix filing and anything else that's unresolved.
Mr. Larson, anything else for today?
No, that's all from us. Thank you. Look forward to seeing you next week.
Anything else from the parties? Commissioner Gilman, Commissioner Plant? Thanks all.
Thanks.
We're adjourned.
Thank you.